I'm Adam Jones, Communications and Community Outreach Director for the Tulsa County District Attorney. I have the privilege of interviewing Assistant District Attorney Kimberly Jantz, the Division Director of our Juvenile Center. We're so thankful that you're here with us, and thank you, Kimberly, for being with us today. Thanks for doing this interview.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So this is something new for us, and so I'm so grateful that you're willing to be our little guinea pig in this experiment. But it occurred to me that as I was starting getting involved in the internal newsletter stuff, and I realized that we had ability to create video, I just felt like that it was incumbent on me to produce videos of people so that we can see you and hear you from your own words. So to begin with, I just wanted to have you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, maybe some about your education as well.
Sure. I grew up in Tulsa. I went to both public and private schools in Tulsa. I graduated from Bishop Kelly. And then I went to Emerson College for undergrad. That's in Boston, Massachusetts. It's a communications school. I actually majored in new media. I was a graphic designer when I got out of college.
So this is perfect for you.
Yeah, exactly. We were actually talking graphic design before you walked in. And hilariously, my minors were in psychology and poetry, which, super useful for my job. I did work as a graphic designer for about 5 years, and then my company was bought out and moved to Florida. And at that time, I was living in Tulsa. I had my boyfriend, now husband. I had a house. And so I decided to apply to law school. I went to TU Law, and I actually interned at Juvenile with the Public Defender's Office at that time. That was in 2007. And then in private practice, continued to work at Juvenile as a representative of parents, as representative of delinquent children, deprived children. I was a referee for a period of time out here. And that was a job where I did the detention hearings and filing announcements, and then eventually joined the DA's office. And this has been my, by far, favorite role out at Juvenile.
Tell me a little bit about why you decided to go to law school, and at what point during that journey you decided you wanted to be a prosecutor.
So when my old job moved out to Florida, and I knew I wasn't going to move to Florida, I also thought at that time, I like graphic design, but I don't love it. And there are a lot of people out there that really loved it, were really passionate about it. And I thought, well, this is an opportunity for me to do something different. I was in my mid-20s, still young. Kevin, my now husband, had just gone back to school as well for architecture. And so I thought I would try law school. I'm the first in my family to go to college. So it wasn't a family thing. It was just something that I thought might be interesting. The district attorney's portion didn't happen until, almost 7 years ago now, but at the time it was because of my relationships with people that worked at Juvenile. Our old building was very small. Everyone there was very close in proximity, but also it required a lot of communication. And so I had great relationships with people in the DA's office. And when an opening came up at Juvenile, now Judge Wilson came to me and said, would you consider joining? And I said, absolutely. And so I did, knowing that the opportunity would be to practice at Juvenile, which is what I love.
So tell us a little bit more about the work that you and your team do here.
Right. So Juvenile really falls into two different categories. The first one is more about protecting the community and getting juveniles treatment before they enter into the adult criminal system, or honestly, before they get themselves killed. And that is a big deal. I think if you just look at the news at all, you see that juveniles are very heavily involved in a lot of homicides. They are also victims in a lot of homicides. And so that delinquent side, we are focused on people under the age of 18 that are committing crimes. And then we have to sort them into categories according to their kind of treatment needs. Juvenile is a treatment court, but you can go as a juvenile delinquent, which is the lowest level of intervention. So those are kids that are going to stay at home with their parents. We're going to get them therapy. We're going to help get them enrolled in school. We're going to get them, more and more frequently now, we need to get them substance abuse counseling. Then you have juveniles that have a higher level of need. We can place them out of their home and out of the community. In some cases, they're treatment facilities for substance abuse, behavioral issues. Some of them are non-lockdown facilities. Some of them are lockdown facilities. And then, of course, once you get to a point where we determine that treatment is not the appropriate course of action, you can look at talking to our downtown counterpoints about filing as a youthful offender, or we have the option of filing as a juvenile but requesting adult certification, which is something that we have done before, even though it's rarely utilized. So that's kind of one half of it. And then the other half of it really involves, well, our responsibility to protect children. These are children in the foster care system. So when you are reading the news, this is a Muskogee County case, and it was awful.
Yeah.
But the 11-year-old girl that had a baby, and it was her stepfather's baby, well, there were, I think, 4 or 5 other children in that home. The conditions of the home were deplorable. They were not getting education. We, along with Oklahoma Human Services, who start and initiate those cases with their investigation, they then come to our office, and we determine the level of intervention needed. In that kind of case, we're immediately removing all the children from that home.
Yeah.
And in that case, we are also going to do what we call seek immediate termination of parental rights.
Yeah.
So that is a very difficult aspect of our job. It is, it's heartbreaking for parents to lose parental rights. It's heartbreaking for parents to have children removed from their care.
Yeah.
But we see at least half of our cases involve substance abuse in the home. A third of our cases are substance-exposed newborns. These are children sometimes born positive for fentanyl, and they have immediate withdrawal symptoms. It could be domestic violence in the home, which, you know, I really try to emphasize how dangerous that is. I mean, we just saw the story of the 4-year-old that was killed in a domestic violence incident. And in most of these cases, what we are doing is we are trying to work with other people, other parties, to reunify that family, to get services in place, not just for the parents that are struggling, but also get services in place for the child. It may be not something that people think about, but a lot of those kids haven't seen the dentist in 5 years, or they're behind 3 or 4 grades at school. They've never seen a counselor. And in almost all cases, they love their parents, and that removal is a trauma. So we're really trying to do wraparound services with other agencies and community partners to bring those families together where it is safe for the child. And then when it's not, it's our office that once again steps in and says, hey, this child can't remain in foster care forever. You are still a danger to the child, and we need something more final.
Yeah. A lot of people probably hear that and think, wow, that might be the last thing I want to do. Why are you so passionate about this work?
I always have been. It's, you know, for all of you out there, if you've never done your ACE score, you know, a lot of us have childhood trauma. And a lot of us know people that have struggled with mental health or have struggled with substance abuse. I am no different from that. And I always saw juvenile, particularly the role of the prosecutor, just this incredible opportunity to help and protect children, even on the delinquent side, right? Even for those kids out there committing crimes, it is an opportunity to hold them accountable. It's an opportunity to get them help. You know, to see them come in and be proud of the fact that they're getting good grades, or proud of the fact that they are finally involved in a sport or a pro-social activity, you know what I mean? And being a part of that is incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
The stories at the front end are always hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of secondhand trauma and third-hand trauma that goes around in the building. But the other special thing about Juvenile is that most people out here feel the same way that I do. Mm-hmm. And so you're surrounded by people that have that same passion of how can we help children and families in our community, and how in turn does that help our community. Mm-hmm. And so that's a really wonderful aspect of being out here as well.
Yeah. What's your message to those who are either in public safety currently or those who are seeking a career in public safety?
It's incredibly rewarding. I worked in private practice. I worked for a small firm for a while. I have good friends within the DA's office who've done the same, like Jeff Neese. There is something deeply rewarding about knowing that what you do contributes to the betterment of our community, but also, in my particular case, the betterment of families and children.
Yeah.
And I would say Juvenile is not for everyone. We're very cognizant of that. And when we do interviews with interns and we do interviews with new ADAs, I'm very, very honest about the kinds of cases we see. Yeah. You know, not everyone wants to be on kid crimes either. And not everyone wants to be on sex crimes or the DV unit. Juvenile is much the same. And so we really are looking more for people that want to be out here. We don't want to force people to be out here, because that would be unfair.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else to add?
Juvenile's the best. And I really, of all the different roles that I've had out at Juvenile throughout my entire career, this one is the most rewarding, because we have the most control over the way that a case will go, and the biggest voice.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you sharing. I hope that everybody knows a little bit more about what you and your team does here. I want to thank Tulsa County Administrative Services, our partner in making this video, and I want to thank all of you for watching, and we'll see you next time.